At SlyMedia Productions, we offer live streaming services to companies willing to reach a worldwide audience. We bring you live studio interactive talk shows and interviews.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this live broadcast.
It is said to note that every day in our local papers there is a case of rape. Are the current penalties not good enough to stop perpetrators from committing crime?
But as we close, I've also seen or read in the newspapers that there are some people who are leaving your party. Why?
We live stream news press conferences as it happens.
We always last longer because we are revolutionaries, we are guerrillas. And today we have proved that we last longer. These neophytes who were using a marriage certificate of a married woman and a senior old man to try to take power.
Our engagement with ZEC, which is very clear, that ZEC has shown that they are not willing to be open to dialogue. They are stubborn and arrogant. They are opaque in their processes.
We have the capacity to live stream debates from various locations for a wide range of clients.
Welcome to this public seminar that has been organized by the Institute for Security Studies in partnership with SAPES Trust and myself, Violet Gonda. We will start the first half with a question and answer segment where I will ask our panelists some questions, and then in the second half we will actually take questions from the floor, and also if there are any contributions from our viewers at home who are watching on social media, we'll also do the same. We are live streaming on our Facebook, on the SlyMedia Productions Facebook page.
So, coming to the issue of elections, there is jurisprudence that election petitions are not decided on numbers only. They are decided on numbers, or they are decided by the environment. If the court finds that the elections were not free and fair, as the first hurdle, the matter must end there, and the election must be vitiated.
The way you see that there was never a plan to win this petition legally is how it was framed. First order that he wanted, a declaration that the election was not free or fair. Second sentence, make me president. How do you do that? If it was not free or fair, how does the court make you president?
We follow them and help build Zimbabwe brand on a positive note. When you think of reaching the ever-growing internet audience with your video adverts, think SlyMedia TV Online. If you want to pre-package TV programs, documentaries, weddings and church services, think SlyMedia Productions, building bridges. Your TV on the go, anytime, anywhere, worldwide.
Church and family are two places where you are supposed to find love. Church and family are two places where you are supposed to find comfort. What if these two reject you? What if these two discriminate you? Today we have decided to visit a man who has seen it all. Today we have decided to bring in the man to share his story, so that if you have any questions of how he went about it, he is here to answer you. Hello and welcome to SlyMedia. We are live streaming at a retreat farm at Pastor Maxwell Kapachao's residence. Ukotati aiwa regai tishanyire murume uyu muvhangeri kuti tinzwe kuti pakabuda pachena kuti ndave kurarama neutachiona hweHIV. Chii chakaitika? Mukereke makasara muine vanhu here vakakwanisa sei kumira pamberi pevanhu vachitaura kuti aiwa varume, uhu ndiwo upenyu hwandava kurarama. We are live streaming on various platforms so that we can have a wider reach. If you have any questions, he is here. Pastor Kapachao, Magadi.
Terrible. Makadini.
Maroa.
Ah, tirimo.
Haona kudara komani.
Tirimo zvinongo kwira nekudzaka. Zvingokwira nekudzaka.
Anditi.
Totenda Mwari.
Anditi. Aiwa tinotenda. Vari kuona chirongwa vangade kuziva kuti munhu anonzi Maxwell ndiani akaberekwa kupi gore ripi uye mumhuri mavo vangani.
Dinotenda. Well, I think first and foremost, Maxwell is the last born in a family of 6.
Godwe.
Bongo. Our family consisted of 4 boys, 2 girls, and so I happened to be the last born in 1973. Ndatkura imsha.
Zvokuoneka ndaona bvunzire.
Ndatkura imsha. So being the last born there, so happy to be. The good part, and you know why I sometimes love retreat. I identify with retreat in so many aspects. This is where I was born. And thank God my parents were working here. This is where I was born. This is where I was raised. This is where I did my primary education at St. John's Retreat Primary. All my education, primary education, I did it here. And it's more like a home to me. Though my father is late now, but my mother is still alive, still staying in the same place, you know. So to me, this is part of me. And yeah, it's not only me. It's like we've got now quite a number of second generation children who were born at Retreat Farm, who are also now parents. So this is me, 2 boys, 4 boys in our family. And I happen now also to be a family man, and so happy now that I had now become a grandfather. You know, sometimes life is, you would think life is very unfair. You would think one time that life is very cruel. Little did I know that I was going to live this day to see my grandson.
Lovely.
And this grandson, I think by now, our grandson is almost 7 to 8 weeks old.
Murikurinzwira tangoona kuti gotwe ini samari pana amai vantu vabereki nepamba haribve rinoramba richingoemedzwa chete richingonzi nyange zvavo pastor kuti this is my place, my home, chichayo ugotwe uyu mafirst born akatoenda kuti handitika. Chakazoita kuti muve pastor chii? Nekuti kana uchikura when I grow up I want to be ABCD. Imimba maikura, what did you want to be besides being a pastor?
Yeah, that's very true. I think pastoral work was the last thing that I never dreamed of. And pastoral work, though I remember when we were like during the youth time. Yeah, at one time, I vividly remember when that prophecy was given that one day I will be in the ministry, but to me it did not make sense. By then, it did not make sense, and I never took it so serious. So down the lines, you grow just like any other boy in the community, and one of the things that you do outside anything else was dzidza kusvika pawasvika ipapo zvimwe zvacho hazvina kuendeka. I aligned working on this farm at one time. Yeah, I went one time on this farm, and actually that's when I got married. I got married was working on this farm, and I don't know whether that was by coincidence because working on this farm, but by then my girlfriend, who happened to be my wife at the end of the day, was coming all the way from Zimbabwe
to work here.
No. I don't know. We don't know. Makore kuti hakuna nhare kai. Makore makobo saya. Netsamba ndo dzaifamba ipapo. But yeah,
kuzona Maxwell.
Yes. Eventually got married. You know, I tried to look and say, okay, though by then being married at a very young age of 18 and marrying before 2 elder brothers married could just give you a type of a picture of what a young man I was. Yes.
Yes.
But you know, I tried to look and say, okay, though by then being married at a very young age of 18 and marrying before 2 elder brothers married could just give you a type of a picture of what a young man I was. Yes. But you know, I this message of saying there is AIDS, I think during our generation it was not making sense. Yeah, it was not making sense. Or maybe it was not spoken of so much. And the background also, the community that raises you up, if it did not have all those things coming in, to us it was something else. And growing up on a farm compound, by then, I don't think we heard so much about AIDS that time. And I'm talking of around 1991 when I got married. Yeah. Jesu zokuti muri inotogara pasi yototi uyu msikana wake takumuziya zviri nani msikana wacho auye pano pamwe uyu koyo or ticharasikirwa negotkera mai vedu, you know. And so it happened. It happened. Two elder brothers were still very single, very supportive. Vakaunganidza mari dzavo vakandoita zvakandoita kana tezvara. My wife came. But still it was, no, this is not my plan. Yeah, pamwe pacho ichokwadi benzi pamukadzi rinodzima unoita I think if it was not for you, maybe I could be statistics. But thank God it so happened in 1992 God blessed us with our first son. By that time now, because when she came she was already a very devoted Christian, and later on, 1 year together, that's when I just said, no, there has to be a turnaround point every time in life. And unongozi ya mashure yoga unompedza munhu achienda kuchechi yes upedza nguva enjoy achitora especially my midweek services achitora and I
madam vari kunosiyiwa padhore chechi
tangoziva kuti kuchechi ndekune madzimai nevana of course kwesusu vanotidii kuchechi after all ndofunga takatoita zvechechi kudhara iwe ukatonamata neni ndanamata. That has always been the whole mentality of the whole thing. But 1992 when we got our first son, I gave my life to Christ, and I really also started feeling and becoming very serious, very committed in the things of the Lord. And little did I know that maybe was 93, things really were moving. We could see God everywhere, and things just moved up like that. I was never, I think the highest rank that, if ever we talk of ranking within the church setup, I think the highest rank that I attained was a section leader, because I was never a deacon. And my area I was not even anywhere near there. But end of 1993, that's when, out from the blues, then somebody just, he was a visiting person at our assembly, and then he just said, and to me it was like a joke. Why we are talking of an assembly, nema deacon, nema elder, but why me? Why me? It did not make sense to me by then. When God is after you, and when God really wants you in, and that's exactly what happened. 94, that's when we went for our theological training. But still, this is where my fight began, because my family did not understand it. My family did not support the whole idea. Actually, because growing up in a traditional church, my family looked forward, if ever I am going to do this church ministry, it has to be in certain church A, where we grew up, all of us, not B, where you are going. So it really became a fight. Whereas my father never even approved anything of it. I remember I did my first year, second year, third year, we were not even in good terms with my father about that whole thing. And it really, sometimes you would cry and say, but why? If church is there to unite people, but why then is my family not accepting the reality? Because to them it was like, we had never seen anybody surviving on this. Why have you quitted doing this? You now have got a family, and now you are telling me, and we don't have any history of anyone from our family who has done this, and it was a whole lot of things. But thank God, one of our uncles, who is also a reference. I went to him, I cried on his shoulder and said, look, I said, no, Mziguruga, kana mwari vati enda. I give you my blessings, go. Chataura nasis wangu, not yanjadzi yangu. Chataura nasis wangu, enda. This is how I saw myself in ministry. And yeah, it was not easy, it was not rosy. 1994, 95, 96, we had Bible school. Out of Bible school, 1997. But then, I think that time, during our stream, we were the youngest couple at Bible College. Okay. We were the youngest couple, and when the time came for us to go into full-time ministry, graduating now from college, then we said, no, but how are we going to handle an assembly? We've got no idea. Yes, we have the training, we have what, but... So we even asked the director one time and say, no, please. Maybe we need one more year to grow. Because I don't think we can ever face up the Matipa Sangano.
To take it apart.
Yeah. It was a total new environment. But by His grace, we managed, and I remember we got deployed in my central. We worked in my central 1997, 98, 99. There, things working out well. But 99, that's when we just said, no, I think it's high time that I've got to go back to Harare. It was my central, but then we were working like Kuma remote, which also brought in a little bit of a struggle. Even my leader that time, my provincial leader, did not even understand it, but finally we came home. Home would not even stay quite a long. We felt our time has been over with this, and then maybe we need to move elsewhere. And then we also got into another ministry. There we worked. 1999, we worked now with another ministry, different from ministry that has taken us through all Bible school. We worked there. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Now venturing into other territories. 2000, we were there. 2001, we moved on. Yeah, we moved on. So it was also now around 2002 when I really, first and foremost, I did not know what was I suffering from.
Okay.
But I think this suffering started, this illness started around 2001. I did not know what it was. It was like on, off, makumbo ndi arikumbo zvimba, zvazombodai, you know? Tikamboita nguva yekutoti kana bhutsu chadzanga dzisingapfekeki, ndamufundisa ari kushumira akapfeka masandals. Pamwe pacho makumbo achatombozvimba zviya zvekuti kana maslippers haapfekeki, saka wakuda masandals are open. I did not know all that thing. 2002 we were deployed in Gweru. There things really got bad, got worse. My health was so much compromised. It was only then, Pane Manawam Koma happened to be one who was by then one of the senior guys at Gweru General Hospital. Finally, I can't know, Baba. But ndine zvinhu zvandoda kukuitai zviri kusanganisira test ye-HIV. Timuno dambudziko riri kubva papi, chii chiri kuitika. And really, it confirmed that I'm HIV positive. So, but to me also it wasn't making sense. What is HIV? No idea, no what. Chataiziya mazuva waindongonzi zvaingonzi abatwa ne-AIDS. You know? Was not there. When that thing happened, and that's the very time that I told my senior, then my senior can get how just keep it to yourself. But Kwandiriga fine, but that was not enough. I needed to hear something more positive from him. But in the same process, that's the very year that they opted to transfer us back to Harare. But now, this time back to Harare, not to the mission, but back home, back to retreat. That's why I came back.
Okay.
No mwanata ona kuti nekurwara kwauri kuita
yes.
Zvino ushumiri tinoda kuisawo munhu akati simbei kuti hatingaramba tichibhadhara mari usina mari yauri kuisa. Those were the words of my senior. Then I asked him, so it's church business? All right, because they were renting a house for us. We had no mission house. Saka tamboti umboenda kumba umbobatsirika uri kumba tinenge tichikunamatira kana tikaita mukana tinouya kuzokuona. Of course they never came to see me. Asi masoko enyaradzo yekuti unyatsobuda zvakanaka. That's when I realized years later. So 2002, that's when I knew that I'm HIV positive, and the greatest shoulder that I thought I can lean on finally also was not there for me. We saw ourselves totally before end of 2002. We're back home, makumbo akazvimba and tikunzwisisa zviri kuitika. Hongu tashona uripo but andina kana way forward. Andina. You see. So down the lines, ndo pamwe paya pekuti chimwe chaitika chakanga chiri fani. Chaitika chaiva chiri fani chaizvo. Aya mapundo aya aibuda. Saka kazhinji kacho daingobuda rakachena.
Okay.
Ukarishina ndokwa ukabuda robva raita ronda. Mapundo aya akaita mupimbiro nekumeso. And I was brown in complexion.
Okay.
Ndina kumana vamwe vakakura vasina mbobvira vaita mapimples. Yeah. So but izvazoitika izvi, it was because of that. Zvakaitika mupimbira nekumeso. Zvekuti nekumwe kutaura kanobva watonzi uhuroyi chaiwo. Kazvionepi uroyi uyu ndo chete zvinhu zvaindivhiringa.
Asi makazvibvuma here kuti ndakaroyiwa?
Mumhuri kana paitika saizvozvo manje hapazoshayikawo futi vanoti aiwa zvinoda kufambirwa uchikaranga. But iwe nekutenda manje your faith and all that stuff. I remember I also caused a lot of commotion when some family members really suggested it. Kuti izvi zvakuda hakata zvakuda kuzodai. And when I said no, they said okay, fine, nokuti waramba zvatiri kuda nemari yedu. But tiri kuti medically zvaramba ngatimboedza rimwe divi. Chiwewa hausi kuda saka zvione. Here is a situation. Hauna mari yacho. Varida kukubatsira varida kubatsira according to their conditions. I said hazviiti. Saka zvaramba seko ike yaiti mamwe mapundo achibuda mamwe achioma mamwe achibuda mamwe achioma. So it continued up to I think around 2004 until mwechiremba pachitungwiza pakazonditi iwe no, why is it we can't break this circle? Ndopakazoti young man, dambudziko rawaita iri rinonzi chakati, ende chakati ichochi chiregedzawo chikashuga. Toda kubreaka this circle. But little did I know. You see, and honestly, when I stopped taking in sugar, pakarapika zvakarapika izvozvo ndakaona dambudziko richidzikira. But charasiya manje mavanga, which is always a reminder of what was once a smooth face, now you are dented in the mavanga. Saka ukavhurira munhu ngakuti aiwa dambudziko rakaitika kumeso nemupimbira, everything else was fine. So 2004 zvaitika saizvozvo, ndoda kungotenda chimwe chacho panguva iyoyo ndakakwanisa kuzointroduced kuma support groups. And this is where I garnered much support and much help, much hope and faith to live. Where I would religiously make sure that every Wednesday and every Saturday I go support group. I wonder why, and of course, zvavo vanhu vanenge vachiti nguva inochinja netrend iri kuitika nyaya dze-HIV, but support group New Life being by then sponsored in a PSI, that support group, it was a real new life. It gave life to a lot of people. And the kuvharwa kwazvo kwakaita kuti vazhinji vashungurudzike kuti zvakaitisimudzira every time ataisangana sevanhu vari kurarama neutachiona.
Imimi semunhu akanga ari mushumiri manyatsoona kuti manzi tichazokutera tichiona kuti tichikunamatira kana kuti tichazokuona mamboti hapana akauya hapana here nekuzofambawo kwenguva nemazuva mwedzi nemakore akazomboti tauya kana kufona kuti mufundisi Maxwell pachawo makadini utano?
That has been a very mountain to climb. I tell you, one of the most frustrating things in life is to be rejected by them that you believe in, and by them that preach what they do not practice. Them that, when we look at them, we are seeing our father figures, we are seeing our pillars of strength. But when we come to the practical side of it, love is not love until you give it away. And honestly, 2002, when these people took me back to where we are today, I never saw them again. Few times, my wife would call them, just telling them, that was that. Finally, then I told my wife that, no, why should we continue bothering ourselves calling these people? Let it be. Let it be. No visits, no phone calls, no what. And I started to wonder who this God is. I started wondering, these guys, they are followed by thousands, only who are able-bodied. But once you happen to be in a situation like mine, these guys, they vanish. I was Sando Shanda. Sakandofunga panda vunika baba, they just threw me out. You know, that's the most painful experience that I ever suffered. If it was done maybe with a fellow pastor, I would have not minded so much. But this was done and this was expressed by the very apostle, should we say, the very head, whereby everybody will look unto him as the head of the ministry. Honestly, that was, I think, the most cruel time that we ever passed through the hands of whatever we call church. I did not see church. I did not see Christ. I was so demotivated. I was so demoralized. But nevertheless, I think all things works for good.
And support group. My introduce kwa support group. Chi chamai taura nezvazvo muri ku support group ikoko muchisangana nevanhu.
I think the support group chainyanyaitika nguva iyoyo kwakanga kusina mishonga, kwakanga zvavepo mazivano zvimaera visits. Tairamba tichisimbisana tichikurudzirana nyaya dzekuti tirarame positively, tirarame ndo mazuva mamazombobuda zvanana Moringa, tirarame tichikurudzirana kuti nonga tiwane zvekudya kunogona kuti ramba uchiti vaka miviri yedu. Support group ndokumwe kwatainyaradzana nekupanana inonzi psychosocial support. Munhu ndopa aitaurawo either matambudziko ari kusangana nawo nevehukama, matambudziko ari kusangana nawo kumba. Taisangana nevamwe vakanga vari madiscorded couples. Saka kwaikurukurwa vanhu vaidurura tosimbisana nekumwe kutaura avata kuti makansela kaya. Ndofunga masapoti group kwaiwanika majaji, mapipi, dzaiziwa, dzichitongwa, dzichigadzigwa ikoko. Zvokuti kunyange ukaenda wakaremerwa, you would come back home relieved.
That was going to be my next question. You were rejected by the church. You were rejected by the people that you look forward to. Now you are in a support group. Environment, say, how did you feel when you're in that?
First and foremost, honestly, support group, I hid my identity.
Oh?
Yes. What if these guys know that I'm a pastor? I've been pastoring. And now I'm HIV positive. ende chirwere chandatoneswa nevakuru vakatitangira kuti hachitowaniki mukereke ende chirwere chekuti ana acho hatofara kutowaniki mukereke uyezve tichisanganawo nedzimwe hama kunyange vakanga vari vana vemasangano vaivawo nedambudziko rekuti inini ndo zvandiri asi mufundisi wangu hazvizivi nokuti akangozviziva futika mukana wacho wekuti ndidzingwe wakadi wakura. The only person that I really opened up to is one of the counselors aivapo ende ndichimuudza kuti ndiri kubva kupi, ndaita nezvei, uyezve ndo situation yangu, ndo scenario yangu. Ndaitomboti kana ndikasvika ipapo ndikanzi havapo ndanga ndisingatende kubatsirwa nomwe kansela kana ivo vasipo. It was a little bit embarrassing. It was like I told myself, I'm ashamed. This is why no one would want to give me a shoulder to lean on. Just as my wife was still very strong. She had never suffered anything. And awana kona ukoshi wekuti na ivo might go through the testing, but she was very strong. Okay. She was healthy anyway. And awana kona the value yekuti vangada kuziva pavamire, panguva imwe chete vangada kuziva vangada kuva nechekuita ne support group or what. But every time that I would go like my clinical visits, she would accompany me. But I had a support group, you know. So I gained that support, that I missed the other side of the river, where I thought the grass is green, where I thought I can be comforted. That comfort never came. But Tawuya, Nanasi, I think as long as you want to make a positive move as far as HIV and AIDS is concerned, I don't know what can be done to revive the support groups. Despite the fact that but the support group system works. The support group system azo vanhu vangatadze kuona ukoshi hwazvo nenguva yatiri inei, that component to people living with HIV is very crucial. Kungosangana ikoko, kungowadzana ikoko is 2 hours, is 3 hours. I tell you, it means a lot, even if munarungwa ma-ARVs. That supports. We need each other as long as we want to remain positive. It's not all about taking these medicines, but also tane ma challenges, ma mental health challenges. Mwe munarukwa na dambudziko nemapiritsi ari kunwa, but hana munhu wekushare naye. Zvinhu zvinosheka trim support group setup. But isusu taita ma support groups kusati kwane mishonga. So mishonga yakazotwana trim support groups. Asi takurudzirana kuti tinorarama zvisinei kuti zvingadi, ende tikararama zvechikadi kusvika patiri. Izvozvo zvichiitika, we never stopped going to church. We went to this other church. Okay. Tikabva tandogara zvedu mabench. Gara zvedu mabench. Because we love God. We want to worship God. But munhu waMwari kana Mwari vane chavakaisa pauri, unoenda proshi, unoenda piri, unoenda tatu, unowadzana navanhu unodii. But runa shanu, even the church leadership will just start to tell you okay. So I struggled so many times. It made me to change like places of worship. Oh. The moment they would start saying this, and chato you church kwenyu apa muri kuziya zviri muropa rangu nemabatirwa makaita kwamakabva. Yeah. Chandainga kwamuri ndichoti ndoda zvinamatira Mwari, ndakagara zvangu mubenji tozviitira zvinhu zvedu ndoenda kumba. But pane chedenga chinongoitika so chekuti kunyange zvakadaro, even if you say you want to be quiet, but sometimes these things they become like fire in your bones. Zvinokusunda chitoti unotaura wataura vanoda kuziva kuti umbori ani. That leadership mantle always comes out. But nokuziva kuti ndakapindana nezvipi. I never thought I was going one day to take up leadership, and not only taking up leadership, that will there ever be a man of God, a ministry that would agree to work with a person like me. These are V. My condition being deemed. There is one place that I'd always argued, even with these so-called bishops, prophets, and what. We are talking of a medical condition. It can survive 7-10 years in one's body system with no sign and symptom. And Makuratu Taranejawaya, HIV being the first case reported in Zimbabwe in 1985. As you know, me right now. In Ninipadas was Zivira put I'm positive, it's 2002. But Pamwe Pacho, I don't know the deepo erepa Dakaiwana, Kanondakazwana Makurek Mashuri. Was to tell us a chinorama, such chaburita hunu wacho. Ndimi manje vekireke mimi zivaka chimuchimochete I wasn't born a Christian. No. I was never born a Christian. And I'm flesh and blood. But imimi ndima uya kunjimbo yedu. We remember makorevayo vanhu vairova mavhuserere. Crusade yaitwa. Tauyawo zvedu isusu tabva nekwatabva nako. Zveshuwa shoko ratibata tapa upenyu hwedu kuna Kristu. Tateera Mwari wenyu uyu. Nyasha dzobva dzawanda hadzo. Gore tiri tose, repiri tiri tose, tiri kushumira Mwari, everything is going out well. Mandipa chepamweya asi hamuna kundishumira kuti zvamatendeuka mbadi kubva mandotestiwa tisati tanamata tose. There was no message of that.
Okay.
Vanhu vakafara kuti aiwa panoda kuti tendeuka here tikasimudza maoko tikapa upenyu hwedu kuna Kristu. Tafamba rwendo tichinamata tiri tose. Chedenga chazodonawo. Tazoonekwawo tamutungamiriri momo takutungamirawo masangano. Dzokonoko ndazowanika ndiri HIV positive. Then mondibvunza kuti mufundisi akaura. Not by then the message is whoever is HIV positive akaura. That was the only message.
Okay.
It was also typical of the West. It was coupled with West scenario yekuti I don't know kuti kuperevera here kwe chizezuru chedu. You know, kuzvitaura kuti I'm living with HIV. I'm HIV positive. It sounds so light. But it becomes a hard chizezuru chedu kuti ko ane mkondombera hoyo. That wedding alone, yes, a lot of stigma attached to it. You know, I think Takashaya a proper word.
Okay.
So nobody wanted to be identified with Zanem Kondombera. And nobody wanted to be identified with Anuraramanem Kondombera. So people would do anything to make sure that they are not in that range. But here is a church. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, they picked me up. But I want to tell you about Crusade Vagadawa. To go, Bogatana is on a Chelma Budrave Europa out at Ashumira Manu. Wachelma Budrave and the for the next 5 years, Munegamunayam Church. We have people like that.
That's true.
But when that happens, down the line, the person test HIV positive, then we blame the person. But do we know his life? Chataka raramisa pamweya, but lifestyle yake asata uya kuna Kristu. Apa turikutaura zvechinhu denda raigona chipuka chaigona kurarama kwemakore chisina hunhu hwachaburitsa. Bona. Saka ipapo bandiko iroro haritariswe. And rakanga risingatari nazvino haritariswe nekereke. No. Who are we to judge at the end of the day? This is why the church would not want to be aligned and be associated nemunhu anenge abuda achiti iye ndiri kurarama nemkondombera. The church distances itself. But this is the very church that brought this person to know Christ. Ameno kuti kana kuti nitaidzi yacho vanozoida.
Anditi ndandiveneka message pana mwanga wacho kubvunza kuti kumeso kwa pastor kwakaita sei? Matita basa mukapindura paya makati ayo ndo mavanga akasara pamakatanga kuita kuziva kuti ndo mamirira amati maziva kuti you are HIV positive kumhuri makavaudza sei zvanga zvaita what was the environment then kuti muvaudze kuti ndo zvandiri ende vasati vava kuti vanga magopa masuggestions ekuti handi kunganga mazovaudza kuti izvi ndo zvandiri vakazvigamuchira sei and support yavakopai yange yakamira sei?
It was like hell, my brother. It was hell. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all to even talk about it within the family. But thank God by then we had a lot of other organizations that helped us.
Okay.
Who even chipped in the food packs, who chipped in the medication, who chipped, you know. Even though I'm so grateful, especially to this lady, I know it's Charity Kawadza. She was a mother.
Okay.
She walked me through this journey. She empowered me. She told me, no matter what, you are going to make it. And she gave me a shoulder to cry on. She really made sure that she supported, not physically, emotionally, psychologically. Until today, I'm so grateful to that woman. Pandai Pera Tariro. Every time she would come home, and I surrendered on a different level. But within the family,
okay.
They cannot funeral police.
Max to anem condomi.
Yeah. They cannot funeral police, so near bed reading.
Could I do so to need Pambira?
Van Machiti, by the way, I said we were born 6, but so far 3 are late. 3 we are there. So it's like the first born, the fourth born, and me, the last born, we are there. The second born, the fifth born, and the third born, they are gone. So, ipapo pakapanzi China kids amanje vanhu vaiuya kunoka vanzi gonzi kwakapashawo kwafiwa akune mwana afa kwakapashawo munhu anenge asina kupedza vanhu vangofungidzira kuti mwana watakasiya ari serious last time iyo ndiye afa inini manje ndiona ndiri pafa mumango uita sudden illness 1 week 2 weeks is gone but inini ndiripo
akune raya katoya choti Max
I remember when my father passed away, I could not even do body viewing. Even when I say I couldn't leave that room and do body viewing. Why? Dainzi donyadzisa. That's number 1. Number 2, kunyange pamupacho wangone shungu. You know? But kuti wane munhu anokubata kubva mbedhuro rako to just pass through that coffin, no one was willing. Adzimai varipo muroora kana kuti mai nini vashaya ndibaba mukuru, she will be busy elsewhere. Saka nhamo dzese dzaipfuura nepamba dzaitika pambaka, I'll be closed there. I'll be closed there. Up until a suggestion came up kuti atidi kuramba tichiviga vanhu vasina mafuneral policy. So one day mudzimai wangu akangonzi hande town, waenda kutown, then pavatonovhurwa funeral policy yangu, and the funeral policy yo yavhurwa ndofunga vakashaya kuti vangapaida ID number, chikangonzi haichauya sezvineiwo saizvozvi izvi kuti wallet yako ndinogara neID. You see, saka kuti vauye vachinditi tipe chitupa chako shamwari, then I should ask you kuti komunochidi. It was my wife only realized vam town kuti ndo zvatoitika izvi kunzi shamwari tikutoziva kuti next kamurume wako. Saka akararama 3 months idzika kana zvikazoitika mu6 months ika police inenge yakubatsira. Zvakangouya nechikadhi chacho zvikanzi tatenda unovhura police hanzi anoti veukama vaneta kuita sei kuviga vanhu vasina mapolisi. And kwete yefamily ka yangu. Okay, fine. And religiously they contributed money. They contributed money to that. Imwe nguva vanhu vakatonzi pane pandakadzika stereki, vanhu vakatonzi mukati mukomana zvinobuda. vanhu vakakuriswa yadhi magombezi ndawachwi hatidi zvinozotidai pano kudini, you know. But I was there. Ndikasvika pamwe pandaekazorambira ndichidza adzimai vangu kuti vanhu venyu vekuchechi you know, and I community ekweyo yanga community yeBrazil nemusati maita zvese izvizvi vakauya ndinenge ndakarara pamba ndakazvambarara but dzinonzwa hadzirimi. So they will come into room mauri waita maprayers avo baba Franz muri kunzwa sei zvazodi but the moment vanongobuda muna nyaya dzacho dzinotangira padhoo ipapa asikana vazviona sei mukati anopona but dziri kunzwa ona. So I ended up saying no, I don't want this type of visit because I'm not to demotivate. So when people would come then we just say vapondogeza mai manje vari kumbozorora vano mishonga yavo mai manje vari kumbozorora because izvozvo instead of you getting better saka vanga vauya kuzonyatsomboona here kana kuti vazoona kuti ndasvika palevel ipi yekuti ndibaye, you know, all those things we pass through it. Biological family, honestly, they were not there. They were not there. Vamwe vacho ndo vaitoharasa vanhu vacho vaiuya kuzotibatsira, ndo vaitoharasa, and it wasn't a good moment. But well, what can you do? Hauna mari, hauna kwawaifungidzira kuti Mwari ndo kwakakudanira kwacho wakarejectiwa, waita mukondombera. So what else to live for? Yeah, what else to live for? You die. You die. And I don't know, maybe that was God's purpose and plan. First born year will be in 1992. We only had our second born near 2000. So there has been an 8-year gap. And it is only in 2002 when I knew that I'm HIV positive. But our second born is okay, it's fine. Is negative. He had always gone through my way for testings. It's okay. So this is 2004, for the first time, through this other guy, this other pastor, who we became friends when I was pastoring in Gweru, but then was sitting in Bodrenak, representing the faith-based, introduced me to this conference where 27 religious leaders around Africa were coming to Mashikadi.
Okay.
Yes. So I went to this meeting. What I saw there changed my understanding of a church can be a better place if it hears this message.
Okay.
Because of the 28 leaders that were there from around Africa, 26 were living with HIV.
What?
2 were negative, but they had lost their partners to HIV. So they were personally affected. But 26 leaders were living with HIV. And most of their testimonies was their churches in their countries accepted them. I was shocked. Really, I was shocked. At the end of this 5-day conference, that's when I was asked, Max, do you think this can be possible in Zimbabwe?
Okay, that was very much good. Conference yakanga iri ma pastors are living with HIV and AIDS positive, organized by National AIDS Council.
No, it was not organized by National AIDS Council. But this guy, because we were friends when I was in Gweru, when he heard about this conference coming, he thought I could also be helped. Yes. I totally a different regional organization organized that.
Yeah.
So Nofunga Iye was approached on the understanding of that Tipo Moon. And they could not think of anyone besides me who could be there to that conference. That's how I went to that conference. And really, I was shocked. You know, I couldn't understand it. I was shocked. So sharing our experiences over the days in Mashikade, and how they have done it in Lesotho, how they've done it in Malawi, how they've done it in Zambia, how they've done it in Uganda, how the congregation responded, the church leadership. It was so challenging, so tasking. So at the end, then they were saying to me, Max, will it be possible to have a network in Zimbabwe? Do you think, do we have a message to give out to other leaders there from what we have taught you here? Because we need this message to go out there. Okay. Really, I got challenged and I saw an opportunity to minister. Yes. And over the years, linking with these people, it helped me to the point of saying, no, but why should I be quiet? Yet, those other brothers and sisters are talking this same message in their very countries, and they've been accepted. This is where it all began. This is how now it came to the birth of Zinerela. That's how it all began. So by end 2004, I had really done quite a number of, trying to talk to quite a number of faith-based organizations about this thing, but it was a no go area. I remember reaching to, I was asked to see by then the guys who were leading the head of Christian denomination. I don't remember. I don't forget that name.
And again, Buba, Pastor Capachao Mukano, Bramuzama, Pastor and I think I don't go to our power, Baratanga, Kuoma, suppose I might tell a negative Pamoyo table. Tibo Bachurungwa to Kutora, Pastor Maxwell Capachao, the first the clergyman to come out in open and say, I am living with HIV. You may have one or two questions. Pastor. Vari panapa ngatinyambobvunzewo mubvunzo ine chekuita nezvavataura pamwe nemararamiro atirikuita zvekuti tinoziva kuti pasocial media but zvekungokanda mubvunzo nekungotuka aiwa tinoziva kuti social media inotipa mukana wekuisa maviews and opinions akasiyana-siyana but sometimes chimbo ngatizokutora pasta ngatibatsiraneiwo chimbotiratidzawo unhu hwako yokuti you are someone who is educated, who is on a smartphone, who is also smart upstairs by asking questions that will help the person who may also read the message that you may have posted. Tapo manje pekuti takuda kuchita takuda kuchibuda pachena muZimbabwe kuti varume tiri mafundisi tiri kumira pamberi pevanhu tichiparidza tikabuda pachena tinonzi budai mucheche imimi mazvipira manje kuti ndakubuda pachena.
Yeah. Because the first thing that I really needed to mobilize was to mobilize all these bigger FPO networks. So you would need buy-in of ZCC, buy-in of EFZ, buy-in of HOCD. You know, by then you need that the buy-in and saying, but this thing is real. This thing is there within the church. But surprisingly, it's not like. It's not what I saw. It's not what I got. Because instead of
opening doors,
opening doors, really they slapped the doors in my front, and some of these they would really be angry and say, this is you know, we portrayed pastoralship or anybody in that office to be holy. But honestly, we are flesh and blood. Yes. We are not yet in heaven. We portrayed anybody in that ministerial office to be someone who cannot be associated with an illness or a condition that, okay, it could not be HIV, but you can be diabetic, it's a condition. You can be asthmatic, it's a condition. You know, you can have BP. It's a condition whereby totoziya kuti amfundisi aiwa haiko zvinezvi mazuva ano shuga yakakwira ndisaka zvakadai BP yavo mazuva ano ndisaka zviri kudai so, and they gladly take their daily tablets with no restrictions, no shame, no what. But when it comes to HIV, it's a no-go area.
Yeah.
It was never acceptable. It's never acceptable. Why? I think we are still stuck on those last yesteryear messages of how HIV is transmitted, how it is like this, and the only people who get them are the bad people. You know. And I don't think as a church we have departed from that sentiment. We are still hooked somewhere there as a church, to which it's not proper, to which it's not the correct message that even today we should be sharing about as leaders. But there has to be a positive message. But how do we roll it out? It has to start with the leadership. How do the leadership, how can they embrace and understand that being HIV positive is not a curse? Being HIV positive is not a demon. Being HIV positive is not witchcraft. And being HIV positive does not say you have done fornication, you have done adultery. No. Once we depart from that and understand other modes of course, we say 80% of 80-90% of HIV transmission is through sexual contact. But honestly, is that all? You see, honestly, why do we say whoever has it today, it's because of sin? Whoever has it today has to be judged, has to be condemned, instead of giving that person a supporting system, because there is life at the end of the day after testing HIV positive. Look, remember, I'm talking of 2002 when I knew. This is the only time that I knew that I have this virus. But honestly, I don't know when I got it, how I got it. So many times on so many forums I've been asked, so Pastor, how did you get it? How did I get it?
HIV is caused by what? Tangosiya kuti vanopamanozo Google opa mbirapo. Because it is information HIV yangu pese peseka. Saka mubvunzo kuti HIV is caused by what rega timbowasira ma viewers kuti vaite vapedzerani baba.
So look, how did you get it? Already to me, it's a judgmental question.
Yeah, yes.
Because by then, we are not looking on the how aspect. How? And anyway, what does it help you if I tell you how I got it? So next question is either you judge me or what?
Plus, the aim of this program is to educate and inform our viewers. And through your help, Pastor, thank you for accepting to give us your life story. Mungu mnataka itobvunza question hiyo pamwe atozive status yake. Atori tongoti pa window period. Pamwe akatopfura hatisi kungoziva chete kuti ndozvandiri. Ati mwana musoro arwara aitawo chirwere icho nechicho. Haasati ambozvipira kuti rega nditestwe. But it's just kuti imimi give us your testimony so that the viewers can also learn some of the information that you are giving us. Kuti unogona kunge wakasimba zvichida zvakare pamwe mangwana isande vamwe vatori kuchechi pazuva ranhasi vari kutoparidzirwa nemunhu pamwe last week hanapo achinzi ari kurwara havasi kuziva kuti airwara nei ozouya next sunday uita se okuparidzirai. This is the reason why we are having this discussion. This is the reason why your viewers your story, what you went through, so that you might be you might find yourself in that position. This is the time to learn how Pastor Kapachao overcome that dilemma.
And thank you so much, Robert. And you know what? Most people who would ask you that question, how did you get it? These are church leaders. I remember when my advert was flighted for the first time, I was meeting with the pastors fraternal in Mashinga the next day. That day, that night, it was flighted before the 8 o'clock news.
ZBC
TV. And a lot of calls. Even my own sister, she called me and she was like fuming. She was fuming. But we did that without, I said, no, I don't need a consent from the family. I'm old enough. Yeah, as long as in we are agreeing. Consent and our children, they were very supportive.
And you also went through them to prepare them for that eventuality.
Yes, they were prepared, they were ready for anything. You know, but the family was so angry with that thing. And the next day, the pastors fraternal in Mashingo, my vision of having a network whereby those who are personally affected, those who are infected, we can come together and become a one thing. That question straight away stood out. How did you get it? Here is a leader.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the other bishop stood up and said, no, guys. This is church business. Yeah. So to them it's no longer an issue. Church business minus HIV. Why did you decide to use our collar? This is embarrassing to the church. I'm being told by church leaders. Information. But I experienced those things. I did well in the hands of non-Christians.
How did you get it?
Honestly,
so that okay.
Honestly, I don't know how I got it. But what I know is I am living with HIV.
I hope you are still watching. I hope you are listening. Pastor Maxwell Kabachawat, honestly, I don't know how I got it, but I am living positively with HIV.
I suffered in the hands of those people. You see, these are not just congregates, these are church leaders. And so embarrassed. It was every time would go these pastors fraternals. All right, to talk about 10 minutes. So make sure you make use of those 10 minutes selling the vision to these leaders. It wasn't easy. But thank God, 2005, December, we launched the network.
Wonderful.
Finally, we launched the network and we were graced with almost 100 leaders, church leaders, and coming from different faiths. We made sure that we had the Christian faith, we had the traditional faith, we had the Islamic faith, and we had the Baha'i faith. Yeah. Because what we said is this is an interfaith. All of us, we are leading communities and also we are leading in our places of worship. We are leaders. So we needed this message to be cascaded. I think panozonzi kubuda pashena yapo paya ndopa zvakazotangira pazoitika advert here. Ndopa zvakatangira. But it wasn't easy again to do the advert. Remember I told you I had one counselor who attended to my issues. That counselor akapinda busy to convince me. Finally, when she sat me down and said, look, Mfundisi, you are not doing this for yourself. You are doing it for the nation. If only Mugango is a pride and shame. It's a shame that being a pastor, I'm like this. It's once you just take off that jacket, please. But so far, hatina jemwe watawa. But chikuda endivana vandakato, of course, ndaka break a confidentiality. Ndichitaura nemi. ndikazotaura nevanhu ava zvangu musati mandiudza kuti munoda here kana kuti but please you are not doing it for yourself mwana you are doing it for thousands out there
kana mchiri kuti mawedzi acho yaiti chizve advert
ini ndiri pastor ndinosenza nezinerela ndinorarama neHIV
hakuna here yabuda advert yakati munhu ari kutsvaga mari
kazhinji vanhu ndaizosangana navo munana First Avenue mutaundi mumu akondomunidze edzika vanotsvaga mari avo I got a lot of comments on that. I really got a lot of comments on that. Really. To the majority, because this thing has been what? It can't be. Vanhu vaya vatanga manje. Zotsvaga mari nezvisizvo. Vanhu vaya vatanga. You know? I got it. I got a lot of that. It was only finally in respect of my counselor. That's how I submitted. Was in what you damn shitty, you know? Ndiri kuda.
Bad.
Ndiri kuvaliwa kuti dzimwe nyika dzatova nekusangana kwavanoita semapoka evatungamiriri. Ndiri kuda. As izvi zvinozi, but not in a direction, you know? But I tell you, when that advert was out, it one time I can say it was a record breaking. It was a record breaking. Kwanga kutsvaga mari vadikani. Upenyu ndo zvawakanga uri chaizvo na zvino ndo zvauri. But tinotenda Mwari kuti takabatsirika uyezve tichitendawo kuti vakaiona uyezve nevamwe vachaiona. The advert is there. Vakaiona panguva idzodzo. Vakadzidzawo zviviri zvitatu. Ndine vanhu vandinosangana navo in different meetings vachizoti pandakaona advert yenyu ndakanga ndiri kuprimary. Ndini?
Ndatonzwa Esther kamangira pana bavati I remember.
Ndini? So a lot of people thought mfundisi veedzi vai vakafa. Aiva ndiripo? Aiva ndiripo. Hatina.
Ndikaimbude mitesi nditaure navo.
Hatina aiva tiripo zvedu aiva azviurai ukangogona kuzvitedza ukangogona kuzvibata nekuteerera zvazvinoda azviurai hakuna kwazvinotiita.
Pastor vabuda pachena kuti ndiri kurarama neutachiwana. Ngatimbosiyai vatendi, ngatimbosiyaiwo vamwe vari panze apa. Toda kunangana nevanhu church leadership vakakuburitsai mukereke mavaudza in confidence kuti ndozvandiri. Mazobuda manje pachena kuruzhinji rweZimbabwe kuti this is what I am going through. Mamwe mapastor, mafundisi vakauya sei kwamuri vachiti chi? Izvi zvazvisisira zvemuconference. Nyika yese yamuziva manje. Vakuti pane here vakatobuda vachiti kana neniwo shamwari. Wataita basa ndo zvandiri kuenda nezvazvo kana kuti shamwari handichada kuonekwa ndiri padhuze neni.
Mataura zvakanaka. You know, this reminds me, I think that was, the very 2005. A lot of turnaround events happened. 2005. Coincidentally, one day, Parare Post Office, I bumped into my bishop. Tangantina Madam. Anyway, that's what ever good. Deal. Apaka Parare Post Office by. And then we went. Fortunately, definitely, do Vakanga Variponamai. Tikagogo zaune. And when wakadzikisa window so vachituona zoka. The first thing that he did was, mwana, uri mbeni. He was shocked. Hano baba makadi tiripo. Chicha kaitika. Chicha kaitika. But to them, these people, our history was gone. We have done away with. You know? Hapana zvakaitika marwenyu akatigonera akatiporesa zvake hapana zvakaitika. Mwana kana ukaona nguva yacho kadouya kuofisi titaure. I'd never seen such hypocrisy within the leadership. That's hypocrisy. Total hypocrisy. No. But I think God made us to meet this man for a purpose. Taiwa kufunga kwe munhu handi kufunga kwa Mwari. He was shocked, I tell you. He was totally shocked. tazo igore zvekare randakamboti dzikei zvakanyanyisa ndogore randakabva ndaiswa pama-ARVs iroro. So it became a turning point. Remember 2002 was here kuti ndo zvauri 2003 2004 hapana mshonga apa pa.
Ungonwa painkiller.
Ungonwa painkiller and I don't think we even had cotrimoxazole. I think kana cotrial yepo ipapo ndofunga yaipiwa kuvanhu vaya vaimbonzi CD4 yavakanyanyodzika here kudini. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all to have access to these medications. So 2005 finally that's when I got access to these ARVs. And ndakatanga kupiwa hacho ndakaita a very big reaction ndikabva ndachinjirwa zvikazobatsiridza ndikatoona upenyu hwakutoenda huchichinja huchidai. Inguva yandiri kutondera nazvino panguva iyoyo ndaifamba ne-walking stick. Was ndakanga ndaita pain pa hip panapa. So I needed support.
Okay.
This left leg. Andinambofungidzira kuti pain iyoyo yaipera. Ndakaitwa zvese zvinongaitwa kuti vaone kuti chii chiri kukonzeresa this pain. CT scan ndakaitwa, ma-X-ray ndakaitwa kudini. But that pain was just something else. Vanachiremba vanazonzwisisa kuti chii chaitika. So finally ndapa mushonga 2005. Walking stick yo ndakamboichengeta kwemakore as a souvenir. Honestly, it reminded me. Because panguva iyoyo ndazenge ndapiwa pekushandira pa mtown. Ndapiwa pekushandira pa Zimbabwe Catholic Bishops Conference. There was one father wataisangana pa steps every day. Yachingonditi munhu wamwari. Mai Jesu muchamanya. Apa office yandiri iri ku 3rd floor apana lift so ndatokwira ndichidonza. Taisangana munhu wamwari muchamanya kuti baba muirelesi. Muchamanya.
Apo pain iripo zve.
Pain iripo. So I make sure kana ndakwira andidziki kudzamana ndangwenaomba. Yeah.
And makwira mchizorora.
Ndichizorora
2 steps wombozorora 2
first, second, third, you know. That walking stick I had kept in ndakazoipa mwana akuvara kubora. And then I was on I never believed it. But one day I was going to walk like this. I never believed it. To those who can still remember, tichisangana ipapo, I had that walking stick. And 3 years down the line, ndapa mshonga, asi pain haisikupera. Tsvimbo yangu ndiri kufamba nayo. Ndakatombosvika muchiremba wangu kuti chiremba, makati mimi kana ndapa mshonga iya, tuhwere tunotama tunodai. But izvi chiremba izvi. Kanzi aiwa, zvinopera ndondwara. Chirudzi, varakanditsanangurira hangu zvinhu zvandakanzwisisa. And honestly, I don't know kuti zvakazopera sei. Ndakazongoona ndakukwanisa kudii kutsika mbichana kutsika. But this thing was so severe, was so something else. Ndodzika ukoko ndodonza kusvika pacharge office ndokwira kombi. Ndoburuka pamaruta ndofamba ndoya kumba. Every day it was like that, you know. But kudza mumwe munhu nhasi kuti for 3-4 years plus ndakafamba ne-walking stick. Mishini chikudza kuti hatina chatiri kuona. Pain uchiinzwa. Zvinongoita sezvinonzi kupenga. Yeah. But that's the reality, and this is why sometimes we say HIV is manageable.
Hanzi nafungisai nyekete. Well done, Pastor.
Thank you so much.
Ngatidzokere zvakare muchechi. Iye zvinezvi ndimi murimo, ndimi mune vatendi, ndimi mune machechi leaders. Nyaya ye-HIV iri kutaurwa zvakaitwa sei, inogamuchirwa sei, inoraswa panze zvakaita sei. Tichikombeya nekwamakabva nako.
Nazvino chikamu chihombe ndechekuraswa kwayo panze. Ndo chikamu chihombesa. Unataka pane zvinhu zviri kuita zvinoitika iko zvine zviri so fun. Especially hama dzangu zvangu dzema Holy Ghost filled. Let us be honest. HIV is not a demon. No. Ungaturika munhu maoko nemakumbo chamai. Asi kana wapedza muturika maoko nemakumbo mudzi asasiye mishonga. These boys are killing people. They're killing people. Don't lie to people. No, at certain time, in every forum that I have an opportunity to address church leaders, I always ask them, what do you pray for on a sick bed of somebody who is HIV? Do you pray for healing or pray for cure? What exactly do you pray for? Because if you are healed, you are healed. Usinganakise munhu kuti you are healed mwanazi mshonga usasiya. Yatikonzera kuti a lot of people now vakudemanda second line medication. Because munhu waMwari akati. Munhu otosiya mshonga. Kungoti fambe gobvo. Zvadona. Pazvadona kudaika. Kuda kuzoti nemunhu, that's only you to discover. I helped quite a lot of people. Vazhinji, they made it, but vapa second line medication. Ukakudzwa nyaya dzacho, takanamatirwa kucrusade, takarasiswa mushonga kwakadai. It's so heartbreaking. We have power as leaders to make or break when it comes to HIV. Our decisions, pamwe pacho mani ndinombogumbuka kuti aiwe mutendi fungawo mani. Ungakundwa nagweja anonyonga kuti gomba radzika. Fungawo mani munhu ari kukutisiya mushonga uyu. Fungawo mani. It's not everything that these pastors say, man, that is holy. No. The same God who allowed the availability of ARVs is the same God who can heal through miracle. Is the same God who can heal you also through these medicines. You know what, Robert? I always wonder when people say they don't see miracles. Because personally, I'm a living miracle.
Yes.
I am a miracle. I wonder when people say they want to see miracles in HIV. I'm a miracle, but I don't leave my medication. Why should you be a miracle and leave your medication? No. I am a miracle, guys, looking at how and where I came from. And since 2005, when I started with medication, the Chiripa first line for the past 15 years, swallowing my tablets religiously, not fooling people to leave their medication. No matter what comes, please, pastors, don't discourage your congregates to leave their medication. No, zvimwe zvese ngatiite vakomana nevasikana, zvimwe zvese ngatishumira kudenga tichaenda, asi kana tichiri panyika vanhu ndavanwe mishonga yavo, hatisati tane chinopedza utachiona, asi chinoita kuti upenyu huendeke, chinosapuresa utachiona, immune system yedu yosimba, aiwa kashi tochirambira tiri ipapo. Hapo saka kana ukandarisana unoti uritaza munhu ari urware kuti ukapana potodza vanhu kuti ana achitaura namufundisi weAIDS vaya. No, handina AIDS. What I'm having is a condition. It's just a condition, just like any other condition. And that condition is manageable when I take my medication without failing. But because tirikuda yoma miracle working healing crusade tirikuda mbiri at the expense sure rimwe ropa rivatendera mwere chabvunzwa pane pamaoko avafundisi. Why should people die unnecessarily over something that is manageable? And where government and donors are putting in their money to make sure that we don't lose a single life due to HIV and AIDS illnesses. But why? Because my pastor said it and I believed it. But what I say, it sells. Dai vatendi vanhasi vakadzidza vega kunzvera Bible. Dai vatendi vanhasi vasangoti vasava vana hongu vana dzepfunde. Let us go back into the Holy Scriptures. What does God say? I told my church leadership, this is why we had people like Luke. He was a doctor. He's found there in the Bible. For what? God would use a lot of ways and means to heal people. Even in the Old Testament. To quantify you. You see, chienda kumpurisita. But later vatina kwatinovanongedza tinongova tisiyai. Kana vasiya zvozodii. You see, atina, and if zvanakira ne development iri kuitika iyi. yatiri kushingirira kuti iko zvinezvi tiri kuti undetectable and transmittable. Hainzwisisi atina kuzvidzidza zvirobert zvetheology.
Yeah.
Idzi dza medical things. Atina kuzvidzidza saka ngatisire vana mazvikokota vaite basa ravo seta redu remweya. Ava vanoshumira panyama voshumira vatendi vedu panyama vafundisi ndapota. Tisapindira muzvinhu zvatisinganzwisisi. Anonwa ma-ARVs doesn't mean kuti it's demonic. How much more anonwa BP zvasiyani? How much more anonwa everyday conditions zvasiyani? But the way we had approached HIV, by then now it's HIV, but by then yesterday it was AIDS. The way we approached it, let us take off that mask. Let us unmask it. Why are we so quiet in our places of worship? To those ministries that had pledged my health offices within their churches, you won't be surprised kuti wambofokisana nemfundisi kana one achizotsvaga information iko. Zinonzi hatakazoisa office yevanhu veAIDS ababa, saka whoever goes there automatically is labeled kuti vamwe ndakazovati no. Why can't we say a health office?
Okay.
Because yakatoiswa padhoo kunzi HIV and AIDS office. Unofunga munopinda mfundisimo.
Adna Bibs, thank God your wife stood with you. Where is she?
She's there.
Varipo maika pachawo zvatichaita rimwe remazuva nekufamba kwenguva mufundisi vanenge vakagara apa amai mufundisi vakagara apa tichinzwa nyaya yavo vachititaura kuti murume akandinetsa uri vachinyatsopa uchapupu hwavo. Chinangwa chechirongwa ndechekuti zvichida you are affected neHIV indirectly or directly. Chii chaungadzidze kune vanhu vatofamba rwendo irworwo. Chinangwa semaslogan ari kumazara ndeyekuti ending AIDS by 2030. Ndo zviripo. Usazoti aiwa information yakanga isiko. Anapasta kapachawo time yavo mazvinzo vachitaura information kwakanga kusina. Kubuda pachena mhuri dzaitoshatirwa kuti iwe wakutinyadzisa, asi iye zvino hapana imba isina kuve affected directly or indirectly neHIV. Asi mawiro mabatiro akaitwa zvinhu zvacho ndiwo anotisiyana. Pastor toziva kuti takataura zuva rese haiperi nyaya yeHIV. Tichazoya zvakare muri mega muchiparidzira mafundisi. Tanzwa mapabata makuti haungaendi pamunhu akarara pabed wotanga kuti healing kubva mutisiya mushonga nekuti ndaita sei ndakunamatira. Chakupai chikamu ichocho chamunenge muchitaurira mafundisi. Mashoko enyu ekupedzisira pazuva ranhasi kune mufundisi nemutendi nehama yakatarisa chirongwa.
Thank you so much, brother. I know I get so pain, especially seeing somebody dying of opportunistic infections, things that are manageable. And let it be known, even when we are saying ending AIDS by 2030, let it be known, we don't need more new infections. And those who are already living with HIV, please adhere to your medication. And once you adhere to your medication, there is life after testing HIV positive. It's not the end. Please, don't blame yourself. Don't self-stigmatize. Don't allow anyone to box you. When you accept the reality, then we can find a way forward. And mazvano zvanaka kuti pane chinhu chiri kunzi test and treat. I think that is a topic on its own, Robert, because that topic also isusu takararama nema-support group akati grounda tikanzwisisa tizopinda pamushonga. So test and treat, we need to talk about it sometime later. Whereby tiri kutaura mishonga yekuti kana tatanga pairi hatigoni kupinda pairi nekubuda pairi nekupinda pairi madiro acho zvina aiwa zvigoneki. Kana wapinda pairi chiziya kuti wapinda pairi for life. For the last 15 years I'm taking my ARVs so religiously. The second line kureva kuti I'm managing quite well. I'm very much managing. Ndapota vakawanirwa nyasha dzekuti vari kunwa mishonga yema-ARVs nhasi. Dai tikaramba takatsungirira titore mishonga yedu sezvatinorayirwa nana mazvikokota, tisazvibisa pamushonga, hakuna chawanika chiri kurapa chiri kupedza HIV. Ndapota kana taenda kundoshumirwa hongu, tinonamatirwa flu, tinonamatirwa mudumbu marwadza, tinonamatirwa makumbo ari kurwadza, asi mishonga yedu ndapota tisasiya uyezve tisasiswa mishonga vatendi. Vafundisi musasisa vatendi mishonga, ndavanwe mishonga yavo ndokuti murambe muchivaona vari vapenyu vari vatano. For those that think this is not an issue, I encourage you today, if you have not gone for an HIV test, my brother, my sister, there is life after testing HIV positive. Please find time, test, know your HIV status. Only by knowing, it will give you a better understanding of what life is. Whoever, when you walk into a testing center, does not mean that you are a bad person. Does not mean that you did something bad, evil yesterday. This is why you want to go and test. Zvakangokosha kuti tizive tinzwisise patimire nepati kurarama nezvekurarama muropa redu. Kana tazviziya zvinotibatsira. I encourage you people, go and test. To those who have not taken an initiative to know their HIV zero status, and to those that already tested, my message as I conclude this thing is HIV is manageable and death is postponable. There is no reason, no purpose whatsoever today that we die from something that is manageable. God bless you so much.
And na Esther Majita Pastor ndadzidza zvakawanda.
Thank you, Esther.
Pastor, pane vangade kutaura nemi vari mu situation yakabatikana, vada kutaura nemi in confidence. Ma support groups akusisina ndimato support group muri one kudai. Vape inamba dzenyu kana makasungunuka.
Well, phone yangu inini is 24/7, so andina dambudziko kutaura navanhu as long as chingoita kuti upenyu hwedu huendeke mberi. Vanozoda kuti kurukure. My number is 0772 218 955. 0772 218 955.
Anditika mazvinzwira number pastor vakupa. Pastor sandodze kwane covid abata namaoko asi.
Thank you so much. Let's afford me the opportunity.
Thank you, Pastor. Chinangwa chichirongwa, as we have said from the beginning, you may have been affected or infected by HIV. You may have been affected by HIV indirectly or directly. We have invited Pastor Kapachau to minister to you so that you can get educated and be informed. Ya isisiri nguva yekuti tite tichiwanda ndosati kuti ayo pastor uyai muzotaurira vanhu pamakafamba napo pamuri uye pamuri kutarisira kuti ramangwana rinenge rakamira sei. We have been live streaming on various platforms so that we can have a wider reach. For SlyMedia, we say building bridges. For now, bye-bye.
Your views and comments are welcome on the program. Remember to like our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and be the first to see as it happens. Your views and comments are welcome on the program. Remember to like our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and be the first to see as it happens. Watching TV on the go. SlyMedia TV.